Bo Nickal is set for his UFC debut. He's fighting Jamie Pickett. We're going to do an early breakdown for that fight. Khamzat Chimaev seems very indecisive about what he wants to do next with his career because he just called out Colby Covington at 170 after mentioning 185 just a couple days previously. The UFC Apex conspiracy. It's said that maybe Mark Zuckerberg's renting it out. Dana White is saying no, he's denying these accusations. We'll get into that a bit. And a bonus early prediction, Gregory, Rodrigues, Brad Tavares. We'll talk about all of these subjects. Make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. Let's start it off with the man of the week. It's Bo Nickal, who's quickly become one of the most popular fighters in MMA. The kid's all over the place. You see him on the front of MMA Junkie's website. Huge win in his last bout, beating Donovan Beard, who ultimately at 7-1 is a capable fighter. His UFC debut is set, and it's against Jamie Pickett. It's interesting. When I did the post-fight reaction, I saw the name of Jamie Pickett. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they give him Pickett as a debut guy. But ultimately, I thought to myself, Jamie Pickett is kind of just an older Donovan Beard, lacking takedown defense, long striker. I'll be real with you, though. I think Donovan Beard might offer more of a jiu-jitsu threat from the bottom. Bo Nickal is probably going to absolutely slaughter Jamie Pickett. Like this fight going more than a round, I'd be shocked. I think the over half a round could even be at plus money. Bo Nickal's running through everybody he fights. They throw him Jamie Pickett, who, let's be real, hasn't done well in the UFC. Pickett is 2-4 in the octagon. He's lost his past two. Dennis Tulilin stops him in the last one. Kyle Dawkins choked him out in the first round previously. Wins Joseph Ugly Man Holmes, mid at best. Ugly Man Holmes is not there yet. He's super young in the game. Laureano Starpoli, no. He loses to Jordan Wright by first round knockout, and Chukwi beat him by a dominant unanimous decision. His UFC run has not been good. They're throwing him to the wolves, and Bo Nickal is going to eat him alive here. I'm expecting Bo Nickal first round win. If I'm calling method of victory, I'm going to say submission in round one. But don't be shocked if Bo Nickal breaks him with some ground and pound first and then locks up that sub. This is going to be the Bo show. I really think they're giving Bo the true, I want to say, give me fight to start it off, just to get the confidence boosted, get himself that first UFC win, and then the more exciting matchups come. Ultimately, I wanted to see him fight Nick Maximov. I think that would have been a really cool fight. I still see that fight as a future matchup that's definitely on the horizon. First, he will get past Jamie Pickett. I mean, we all expect him to. I really don't think you can argue. He's going to be maybe, minus 800 as the favorite. I don't think there's much of a chance for Jamie Pickett. Ultimately, he's got more fights than Donovan Beard, but you're looking at a guy with a very similar style. Fight takes place at UFC 282 as well, December 10th. Good way to get Bo Nickal some more fans and build that star, because ultimately, the guy's got the juice, in my opinion. That's the first topic. And a damn exciting one, because Bo Nickal has everyone ready to see. I mean, middleweight doesn't have that wrestling savage at the top. Now they got one with Bo Nickal. Next, let's talk Khamzat Chimaev calling out Colby Covington. What this means to me is Khamzat has no fucking idea what he wants to do next with his career. I believe when he said he wants to jump to 185, he started really thinking about it. He's like, man, I have no momentum at 185. I have to almost rebuild at 85 in a sense. Yeah, you could say he's one fight away from a title shot, but is he really? Because let's be real. If Alex Pereira beats Israel Adesanya, you know for a fact they're going to have to run that one back. That clogs up the top of the division. He's better off staying at 170. Colby Covington is the right fight. Problem is, can Khamzat Chimaev make 170? I'm going to say this. I personally believe he definitely can make 170. I feel as though he was not taking the weight cut seriously at all in the last fight. There's rumors that he was eating like a fat fuck throughout the week. And honestly, I kind of believe it. He wasn't concerned about fighting Nate Diaz. He said, I'll shed the water off, no problem. Ultimately ran into trouble. Luckily, got Kevin Holland, destroys Kevin Holland. The hype on Khamzat is still 100% there. Thankfully, there really isn't any stock drop, but he's kind of turned into the evil heel Khamzat, and matching him up with another, guy that's very disliked in the game, Colby Covington, I think will be a fun fight. One of two things happen. Either the American fan base somehow turns on Khamzat and actually goes towards Colby Covington, or maybe Khamzat Chimaev wins those fans back, beating on Colby Covington. Personally, I still love Khamzat. I want to see the Colby Covington fight more than anything. The biggest concern is the weight cut. If he jumps up to 85, there's monsters there. These guys are huge. Paulo Costa is a giant human being. He's huge. He's jacked. Yeah, Khamzat Chimaev probably is the better technical wrestler, maybe even the better technical fighter overall. But the physicality of Paulo Costa ultimately could be a huge problem. I want to see Khamzat at 185 down the line. I think let's focus on 170. I think he needs to get that weight cut on point. Take this shit seriously. Let's get him at 170 versus Colby Covington. I think that's a main event. I think that's a 5-round co-main event on a pay-per-view card. I think that's one of the biggest fights the UFC can book, to be honest with you guys. I want to see it. Let's make it happen. Colby Covington taking on Khamzat Chimaev next. Just get the weight cut on point. Let's get that weight right from Mr. Chimaev. Now, let's talk this UFC Apex conspiracy theory. They're saying Mark Zuckerberg rented it out. This is what our main event favorite, Mackenzie Dern, has said. Dana White right away denies that. Here's what I actually think is going on. Not Mark Zuckerberg renting it out just for his viewing pleasure. What I think is Facebook, or now Meta, is choosing to rent out the Apex in partnership with the UFC because they're working on this VR fight. Dana White stated on that Full Send podcast, we're going to do a fight in virtual reality. That means you can essentially buy a ticket in the front row, and you're going to have those fucking Oculus goggles on, and you'll be seeing it as if you were cage side. It sounds pretty damn sweet. I wonder what those tickets will look like. Ultimately, I don't have one of those fucking Oculus headsets, but I know somebody that does. And I hope they throw some videos on YouTube, maybe in VR, that you'll be able to watch and get a feel for it. Because I think that could be pretty damn sweet. I love the idea of doing it, but hopefully they're not ripping you off with like, $100 virtual tickets. It's essentially going to be like getting the nosebleed seats at a UFC event anyways. I'd rather see them maybe even for free. ESPN Plus has an option. You'll see me on a fucking Fight Companion with the goggles on, and I'll be right in the front row watching the fight cage side. That would be pretty sweet. I like that idea. I think they're working on the VR. I think it's through Meta. That is why the Apex is closed off to fans and media this week, because they don't want to get any leaks out there. They want to have it 100% set before they release it to the world. That's why Dana, like, you can see he gets very defensive quickly. It's because they're up to something. You know that the VR thing is what it is. It's the VR thing. They're making VR fights. They're going to do a fight in the metaverse, but it better not be exclusive to that shit, or I'll be fucking up in arms pissed, man, because I want to be able to still watch my fight as normal on the television with my quality angles. But I still would be down as fuck to eventually throw those VR goggles on and check out a fight, assuming we can get it for free as ESPN Plus holders. Pretty interesting. I don't like not having the media there, because now there's going to be like no post-fight pictures. We're not going to see anything there. So coming up with post-fight reaction thumbnail, I guess we're going to have to go through and screenshot from the actual UFC broadcast. Overall, big announcements in the game with Bo Nickal's debut. Khamzat Chimaev's indecisiveness. I guess you couldn't say it's necessarily an announcement, but interesting news. The Apex conspiracy. I send you off with a bonus, though. Gregory Rodrigues gets the biggest fight of his career. He fights a ranked middleweight. I love that he's getting this shot. He fights Brad Tavares. Listen, Brad Tavares is extremely technical and not an easy guy to finish. I know people look at that Edmund Shabazian loss and start thinking Brad's chinnies. Absolutely not. I think ultimately we're going to be in store for a fight between these two. I think Tavares is definitely a little bit more technical with the stand-up. Rodrigues, 100% durable, will continue to walk forward. I see him hurting Tavares with big punches, but I actually still predict this fight goes the distance. I'm going to take Gregory Rodrigues to win by a decision, and don't be surprised if we see that high-level jiu-jitsu in the matchup. Maybe some early lines dropping. You want to place a little bet on Gregory Rodrigues, especially if he's sitting at plus money. The dude's an absolute savage, and you can't pick against him, especially because they're doing this event in Rio. I love that Rodrigues is going to be now introduced to the Brazilian fans. I really feel like Gregory Rodrigues is going to be on the UFC roster a very long time. I don't know if he ever gets towards, that title shot challenging for the belt, but I really feel as though his skill set is hyper elite. As we get a fucking advertisement on MMA Junkie here. The event that it will be at, we're looking at the dates here. Let's see if we can find it. Gregory Rodrigues, UFC 283. I bet he's going to be on the main card. And that main event is Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. I love it. I love it. Give Gregory Rodrigues that superstardom in Brazil. I really think I really think he's going to be like a Brazilian staple veteran for many years to come. He's super young. He's in his 20s. I know he looks 45, but he's only in his 20s, and he's a damn savage. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the news reaction. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you don't have anything to say, please enjoy the content. Drop a W in the chat as always. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everyone.